Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to COINAHOLICS Autonomous. Today's coin is everything you possibly need to know about the Henning nickel series. Francis Leroy Henning. Well, he was born in Ariel, New Jersey, September 18th, 1891. When he was 41, he began his counterfeiting career. He was counterfeiting $1 and $5 bills, American currency. He was caught by the police and, well, they put him on trial. He was convicted and sentenced to 3 years in prison. He served his sentence and he got out in 1939. Hence the first Henning nickel being from 1939. Now they're not sure whether he did his time in Buffalo, New York or Boston, but it was one of the two. And as you can see, it is a picture of Francis Leroy Henning. And by the time he got out in 1939, he had already planned, well, for his next counterfeiting. And that was to switch from bills to, well, pocket change. He is responsible for nickels, dimes, quarters, and half dollars, which there are very few of the dimes, quarters, and half dollars that have been identified to date. Today we are here to learn about, well, his nickels. Now, at the time of his arrest, he admitted to counterfeiting 1939, 1944, 1946, 1947, and 1953 Jefferson nickels. But at the time, he also admitted that there was one more, that had not been identified up till now. Now, personally, I believe it's the 1941. Why? Because I actually found one that weighed 5.3 grams. Now, typically, his came out to 5.4 grams, where a standard one would be 5 grams. So, with circulation and wear, that would be just about right at 5.3 grams. Now, as you can see, this is the 1944. And this is the reason why Mr. Henning got caught. And I will show you why. Let's go to the reverse. Now, as you can see, this coin has a mint mark above it. It was a wartime coin. But, and as you can see on this photo, there is no mint mark on this 1944, which ultimately led to him getting caught. Now, there is one point that everyone should be aware of. There is no such thing as a mint state Henning coin. There is no such thing as a Henning coin that has full steps, because he designed them to look brand new, to look worn, so they fit in with a lot of other coins from back in the day. So all Henning coins, for the most part, as far as I know, are all made to look like they're heavily worn. It took a lot less time to make the dies that he used to punch them. And they blended in very well with regular pocket change. Now, things to look out for. Well, in the 1939, in pluribus, as in e pluribus unum, the R on the left hand side near the bottom has a little niche to it as well. Well, as far as I can tell, in the later dye stages, there's very common to see dye cracks develop going across from the right hand side to the left hand side on a lot of the coins, but those are the ones in the later dye stages. He minted hundreds of thousands of nickels, and back in the day, that was worth a lot of money. Let us start with the 1939. The 1939 Henning nickel is the most valuable of the Henning nickel series because it is probably the least it has the smallest population out there, from what I can tell. And as I said, if you look at the R in pluribus, the bottom left side, there is a niche in the R, and that's one way to tell, but it doesn't seem to be in all of them. It must have been a lower or a later dye stage, just as the dye cracks, appear in later dye stages. So he knew what he was doing up until a point. Now let's look at the 1941, which is what I believe to be the fifth. Now, either this coin I have is, in fact, a Henning nickel, or there was a serious planchet error at the U.S. Mint. Typically, the planchets don't come out this much overweight, so, and it is very worn, as a Henning nickel would be. Now, let us go to the 1944. And this is the one that got him caught. As you can see, this coin has a mint mark on it because it's not a Henning nickel. But, well, the reason why, and this next photo is actually a genuine Henning nickel, and it didn't have any mint mark on it whatsoever. And during the wartime, they had the large letters above Monticello on the reverse. And that's how he got caught, because he got sloppy. Now, let's go to the 1946. And as you can see, this is a decent example. This is also a Henning nickel. On a lot of them, there isn't, if you catch one in an early dye stage, there's very little to tell you that it is a Henning nickel, other than get out your scales. A true Henning nickel weighs 5.4 grams new. So if it's 5.3 in that range, then you have a very good chance of it being a Henning nickel, because those types of errors were caught at the U.S. Mint pretty much right away. Truly. And now, let's go to the 1947, which is another example of a Henning nickel. And as you can see, and as I've said, they're all fairly heavily worn nickels, so they blended in very well. Same thing, this one must not have been in the later dye stages, because there are no dye cracks and no physical deformities to indicate a Henning nickel, other than the fact that it had the right weight of 5.4 grams. Now, last but not least, it is the 1953 Henning nickel. And as you can see, all these photos are actually genuine Henning nickels. So, as you can see, very heavily worn. But no, no way to really tell that it is a henning nickel other than, as I've said, the weight. So you can watch for die cracks, and you can, watch for deformities, but really only the 1939 has a deformity in the R of pluribus. But seeing how worn these coins are, anything you get that is, has really good detail, you just know it's not a henning nickel. During his entire counterfeiting career, he was employed full-time by a firm, Day and Zimmerman. It was an engineering business in downtown Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. An interesting note is that Mr. Henning, after his being caught, claimed that he actually lost money during this because, well, he was learning as he went. Now, I find that hard to believe, but that is what he claims anyways. With the government levying a $5,000 fine on Henning, it turns out that he lost in total about $7,000 through this whole process, never mind several years in jail. Does crime pay? Well, not in this case. Anyways, that is all I have to say about, well, Francis Leroy Henning and all of his nickels. If you haven't yet, I would appreciate you both liking and subscribing. Thank you very much. And the next time's coin will be the 1966/69 1 peseta coin from Spain. And as I say in all my videos, be safe, be smart, and enjoy your coin search. Goodbye.
What?